What's good, YouTube? I know it's been a while since I've made a video. I'm gonna get right back at you guys starting today. It's Sunday. It's early in the morning. It's about 6 a.m. Just killed some pancakes, as you can see, following my intermittent fasting guide. So that's what we're gonna be talking about today, guys. I've gotten asked a pretty good amount, like, what do you think on intermittent fasting? Like, is it good? Is it bad? And actually, for you guys that don't know what intermittent fasting is, it pretty much is a way to improve your insulin sensitivity by eating in a selected time period. So, not eating for, let's say, 16 or 20 hours of the day and then fitting all of your food into just an 8-hour or 4-hour time period. And what I've seen is that there's coaches out there that are using this to burn more fat than you normally could, that don't have any certifications, they're not a registered dietitian, and they're not even personal trainers. They don't even have a training certification, which puts them at an even higher risk for liability reasons and getting sued and all that good stuff if something goes wrong with somebody. And additionally, I've seen that they're using it for almost all of their client base, and it's not something that's sustainable long term for maybe everybody. Maybe it is for you or your friend or a person here and there, but ideally it's not sustainable for everybody. And I guess there's not one diet or tracking system that is sustainable for every single person, but fasting it doesn't really make up for the majority of people out there, in my opinion, I guess you could say. And I guess let's go ahead and start off with some research. And I know there's gonna be a bunch of zealots out there that wanna say, oh, but there's this research, blah, blah, blah. Well, actually read it and see if it's actually a good study. I can almost guarantee you that it's not. But intermittent fasting has no actual evidence providing increased fat loss from intermittent fasting if calories are equated. So if you have someone intermittent fasting and someone who's just like tracking macros, if they're both at the same amount of calories for the day, if this person eats all of it within 4 hours and fasts the other 20 hours a day, and this person eats it in 16 different meals or something, they're both gonna have the exact same rate of fat loss if they're both at a deficit. A deficit is pretty much just being below your maintenance calories. So if it takes 3,000 calories to maintain your weight and you need to be at a deficit, let's say 2,700 calories, you're gonna be losing 300 calories per day times 7 a week, 2,100 calories in a week, and you're losing, let's say, maybe 2/3 of a pound a week. So intermittent fasting could potentially be reasonable if it fits your schedule. Let's say you only have an 8-hour time period to fit in food, and that's just because of the way your work and school and this and that is. And if that allows you to adhere better to your program or your diet and all that good stuff, then maybe it is more beneficial for you than trying to eat all of it over a course of a whole day and stuff. But just know that there's no increased effect for fat loss when doing that. Additionally, intermittent fasting is not optimal for gaining muscle, losing fat, any of those general goals to transform your figure or physique. So if size and strength are not your overall goal, just even putting on a little bit more size or a significant amount of strength, then it's probably not the best way to go about reaching your goals unless it allows you to adhere better to the program. Binge eating allows you to save pretty much all your food for, let's say, a 4-hour time period. And this ultimately allows you to binge harder, which can translate eventually to some sort of eating disorder, such as bulimia, where you save all of your food for a 4-hour time period, and then that allows you to binge as much as you possibly can in a 4-hour time period. The thing about that is that you may then not be in a deficit if you're not tracking on top of intermittent fasting. I could guarantee you that in 4 hours, or probably even 1 for some of you, you could eat above your maintenance level, the amount of calories that it takes to maintain your weight, in under an hour without a doubt. Pretty much it creates an anything goes type of mentality, potentially. Maybe not in every single person, but if it does in that one person, and you create an eating disorder and you're a coach who causes that eating disorder, you're at a huge liability. So if you already have problems of you're shameful for the fact that you're eating bad foods and this and that, but you have the idea that if you can fit it all in a 4-hour time period, you won't get fat or this, that, and the other, then potentially for you, or if it's your clients, you could exacerbate these problems and make them much worse and turn them into an eating disorder. And people are gonna say, but so-and-so created a great physique using intermittent fasting. Well, that person probably has better genetics. And even if not that, it's not just always genetics. Sometimes it did just work well for them, and again, it can go back to them being able to adhere to it better. The problem is that it's not optimal. It's not optimal for building size, building strength, and for even girls that just want to tone. It doesn't allow you to optimally reach your goals. This is because muscle protein synthesis has a 4 to 6 hour time period or refractory period in which you're able to initiate muscle protein synthesis. And this is done by larger protein meals every 4 to 6 hours. if you're fasting all of your food for a 4 or 8 hour time period, you're going to be incapable of initiating muscle protein synthesis optimally. So potentially a middle ground for all of this would be to just fast your carbs for maybe just 4 to 6 hours, or your carbs and fats for 4 to 6 hours, but you still space your protein out every 4 to 6 hours. That could be a good middle ground, but ideally it's not going to have any extra benefit. The only reason to really do that is if it helps you adhere better to your program. Alrighty guys, I hope some of that helped clear up just your questions, maybe just thoughts on intermittent fasting, and just help express my thoughts on intermittent fasting. I am now going to go ahead and start my day, I suppose, at whatever time it is, 6:30. And go ahead and get this started. Gonna go get another breakfast, or I guess the rest of my breakfast. And looking forward, I'm exactly 1 week and 6 days out from this contest on October 15th. See you guys later.
Here we go.